arena where everybody is pushing that crap at him, and that's the only thing that he gets, so that's what he's got. But see, I'm going to avoid that because it's obvious to me that you have some very serious information out there that should be attainable to everyone on the planet. But I know you've had to do your research, and I'm sure it was really mad hours of research because I am just intrigued with all the stuff I've been learning from watching your YouTube page. But what I'm getting at more than anything is that name right here. This name that you say right here, okay?
And park their spacecraft on the grounds of Mexico City and allow the Mexican people to shoot videos and photographs of them as they pass through one another, as well as through their vehicles in their light bodies. From the halls of Amenti, where Christ, Yeshua, Melchizedek, Sananda, and his family, along with millions of other Christ beings and ascended masters, are currently living today.
September 21st, and we have an amazing show for you tonight. Our guest, her name is...
Okay, now you know...
Light bodies.
Right.
From the halls of Amenti, where Christ, Yeshua, Melchizedek, Sananda, and his family, along with millions of other Christ beings and ascended masters, Mexican people, to shoot videos and photographs of them as they pass through one another, as well as through their vehicles in their light bodies. From the halls of Amenti.
Okay, the halls of Amenti. Now, I read that in a book. I read about that. And it's in the book, it's called Amenta. Okay, now this is supposed to be the supreme dwelling of all the Godheads. The company of gods, the Ened and everything, to my understanding, they all coagulate here. This name that you say right here.
Where Christ, Yeshua, Melchizedek.
Who is that? That name right there, Melchizedek. That's what I want to know about. That name really stirs up some energies inside of me every time I hear it. I've heard it before, but this time when I heard it from you, it really triggered something inside of me, and I'm saying to myself, what is this name right here? Who is this person? Now, you know what? When I first started doing these YouTube segments that I put out here, I was telling people that for a long time, these two guys used to come and give me these really, really huge men, white and black. I mean huge, big, like, you know that guy they call Zeus, Tiny, what's his name? Tiny Lister. You know what I'm talking about, the guy with the funny eye. And then they also had that guy that played on the Green Mile. You remember that real big black dude that played on the Green Mile? These guys are bigger than both of them. I mean, they are huge. They bigger than both of them. And they used to come and get me. And they used to force me to go with them. I used to be trying to fight them. And they'd be like, man, why we always have to go through this? Come on, we taking you. You know you're going to come. Just come on and go. And then they would take me down all these stairs. A whole lot of stairs. And every time we go down the stair, it get darker and darker and darker. So I know we'd be going into the earth. Then all of a sudden we come to this really huge door. And this door opens up. And there's immediate light. I mean, so much light. So bright, like the brightest Florida day. And the biggest parking lot you can ever find with no trees anywhere. Imagine that bright light, right? That's how bright it be. It be so bright, it be disturbing to your eye. You have to adjust to it. And then once I adjust to the light, there is sound and everything. And you know what? We be at some type of arena. Just looks like a big, huge outdoor amphitheater is what it looks like. And there's people doing things that everyone has gathered around to watch the actions that's going on down in the area that everybody is pointing their attention toward. And then there's this lady that's sitting there, and I know her to be my mother because she's the queen. And that's what them guys tell me. They say, we want to take you to see your mother. But we have to stand there until we could get permission to approach her. So we be standing there, and she looks at me, and I look at her, and she just act like, okay, I know you're here. And she don't even care. She just be doing her thing. Then all of a sudden she gestured for them to bring me over there. And then when she make the gesture for them to bring me over there, I see all these guards and stuff. They make a path. And when they make this path, these other two guards who came from the ground to get me, they walk right through that path. And they all be looking at me like I am the shit. I mean, for real. They be looking at me like, okay, you are very important. Your mother wanted to see you. We came and got you. Why you here? You don't say shit. You don't do shit. You let us do our job, because we will fuck you up if you impede us to make sure that you don't get fucked up. In other words, we will hurt you in order to protect you. That pretty much be what I be getting from them. And then when they take me to my mother, she be sitting there, and I'm talking about royalty. You have never ever imagined. Well, I'm saying that about myself, because when I look at this lady, I can see the energy in her and how she is so capable and worthy of ruling. And my father is never anywhere around. I believe he stays in those spaceships constantly, all the time. He's never around. Never, whenever I go around her, it's always her. And you know, she changes her personification. The last time I saw her, there was a lady in West Angeles church. And I used to go and talk to that lady. She was a very bizarre lady, but she was really good looking. She was married. And I don't remember her name because it was so long ago. But I used to always have encounters with that lady every time I used to go to church. She was always there for some reason. Oh, I'd come in there and help her set up the multifunction room or whatever. I don't remember her name. But do you not know that this is the lady who was sitting in the personification of my mother the last time I went and visited her? And she said to those guards, she said, bring him over here, bring him over here. And then they took me over there, and what she did is she kissed me on my mouth. Not a sexual kiss or anything like that, but just a kiss. And then when she did that, she whispered something in my ear and she started laughing. And then she told them guys, those two guards, she said, take him and do with him what must be done. And then they took me down some more steps. And when they took me down these other steps, I went into this big, huge underground temple. And when I went into this temple, there was people in this temple that were all dressed up in this really, really beautiful purple and white and green and the colors that you're looking at right now. That's in that picture right there with this Tinkerbell or whatever flying around, this angel. Those are the colors that those people were dressed in. The same colors that I see in the light when I'm a light entity, and the same colors that I see in the volcanoes as well as in these spaceships that's flying around. It's those same colors, that blue, that green, that gold, and that white. It's the same colors that these people had their garments wrapped around them in. And they were walking in a procession. And I remember this silence. It was so silent that no one was speaking. No one was saying anything. It was total silence. And it was so grand. It was so huge. I kept saying to myself, damn, where does it ever stop at? That's how big it was. So what they did is they took me to this place, and this door opened up. And when the door opened up, I went into this place that had these really big, huge, golden pools. I mean, huge. They were so big, they looked like they were the length of football fields. And it was two of them. It was one on the ground, and there was one above it. But now let me show you how they were staggered. They were staggered like the step pyramid would be, as to where the one on the ground protruded a little bit further than the one on top of it did. The one on top of it was offset back, where you could see that the two ending rims didn't flush with each other. They were not aligned. The one that was on top was set back a little bit more, as stairs would be set back. The same way stairs are staggered, it was staggered like that. And they were so big, I could see the one on the bottom and I could see the one on top. And I remember my mind saying, if I was in that pool on top, because the water in the one that was on top was coming out of it, draining into the pool that was under the bottom. And I was thinking to myself, If I was in that pool right there, I could ride that water right through that hole and fall into this pool right here. And as I was thinking that, a thought came to my mind and said, I wonder if there's another pool above that pool. And as I thought that, them two guys grabbed me. And when they grabbed me, they jumped me into that pool with them. We all jumped into that pool. And what they did is they put their hand over my mouth and over my nose. And then they grabbed me and they pushed me underwater. And when they pushed me underwater, I knew that that man had put his hand over my mouth and my nose. So the first thing I'm thinking is, they getting ready to try to kill me. They're going to drown me, right? So when he pushed me under the water, I started fighting because I'm thinking, okay, they brought me here to kill me. So I'm trying to fight these guys, which is useless because they so big and so strong. They just hold my little butt right there like, just roll with it. You know, we done did this before, you know? Because that's how they looking at me like, why every time we do this, we have to go through this stupid shit with you? Stop, you know? And when he was saying that to me, I could hear what he was saying, but his lips wasn't moving. So I kept fighting for a minute, but then after a while, it dawned on me that I'm breathing. Even though I'm underwater, and even though he got his hands all over my mouth and nose, I can still breathe. Quit fighting. Listen to him. So I relaxed, and I stopped fighting the guy. But now, you know what was amazing? When I relaxed and stopped fighting these people, the clarity of where I was at started being revealed to me, and I was in a pool with statues of gold everywhere. This is how big this pool was. And when I started looking around, I could see statues of pharaohs. Huge statues of pharaohs. With the little manicured beard and everything, you know, with the cross, everything like this picture right here. Let me show you what I was looking at. I'll show you. This is what I was seeing underground in that pool. That. This is what was there. This picture right here. They were everywhere. And I remember looking at it thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing. That right there. But they weren't like that. They weren't sarcophaguses. They were just statues. Or just the head on one place, then the whole body. But it definitely had this flail and crook with this manicured beard. That was definitely there. And they were all male. I don't remember seeing any female. I was in a pool with nothing but all these pharaohs in there. They were everywhere. And it seemed like they were looking at me too. But they were statues. But they had life in them. It was so weird. So I want you to... Who is this name right here that you say? Right here. This is amazing. I know who that is. That's John Henry Clark.
These spacecrafts in the skies over all of the nations of this earth. These are the black angelic humans currently living inside of planet Earth in both the city of...
Now, I believe that I came from the earth. I really do. I believe that I came out of the earth and came to the top of the earth. And there was some spiritual energy that came on that green light, produced me living here on this earth, above the earth as well as below the earth. Could there be two personifications of me where one came from the earth and merged with the personification that was on top of the earth? That's what I want to know. I want to know, could I be a spliced entity of the physical realm above the earth as well as the physical realm below the earth coming together? Because when they put me in that pool with those pharaohs and I woke up out of that dream and went to service the next day and saw that lady again and remembered she was in my dream, I told her, I said, you know what? You was in my dream last night. She looked at me. She was like, I was. I said, yeah, you know what? You were a goddess in my dream last night. And you gave me a kiss. I think it was my mother. And I was telling her that, and it was so weird. But she was on the Jesus vibrations.